everyone. Let's get started with this New York session market update. I'm gonna start with crypto first, actually, because there's looks like there's good opportunity shaping up, and let's take a look them first, and then we'll talk about other market afterwards. All right. So any pairs, any market, anything you're looking at, you can feel free to type in there, and I can take a look. So just want to make sure you guys can see my charts and my line, and then I'll get started. So we're all good. Let's get started, guys. Let's get started. Like I said, I'll start with crypto first. This is a trade I got in, I think, about Linden session or so. So I'm looking at Binance Coin, talk about this pretty much a larger kind of structure forming here. So we have large impulse followed by correction, and then looking like I'm waiting for a complete breakout. So this is when we have that kind of lower time frame breakout, and then I was looking for a lower time frame. So this to me is kind of more spread or whatever. It doesn't really faze me. What I was looking for more is a structure here after we broke out, right? So at least we have a few swing highs and few swing lows, and then we also break out of that small structure as well. So a correction after breakout, set an entry order, and then set the stop loss below. And I'm happy to sit this one and see what we'll do because we're already approaching. I mean, this is already the all-time high here. So, but I like how we push up correction. So this is a small correction after breakout. I will be looking to see how the price will move up. Is it going to impulsively push up, or if it's going to collectively move up, and then I'll adjust the management accordingly. But I like the overall bullish bias. I like how we have long continuation correction. So this is something that I always look for. Okay. So that is Binance Coin. That's the only one trade I'm in now. The other trades I will close down. I'll talk about those when I get to Forex. But all my other trades I closed down or they got tagged out. So to a couple other cryptos. I do want to talk about a couple other cryptos. So Bitcoin. I like how we form this kind of a clear kind of a flag kind of structure. This is clearly a correction to me. So we have impulse correction, and then we break out of this flag here, and then to continue push the price higher, at least past this previous all-time high, and then continue going afterwards. What I see now is I'm not really seeing too much here, but you could argue that there was a correction here if any of you guys got in, but ultimately the bullish side is looking pretty good now. Originally, I thought we can see the price drop all the way here before it reverts, but looks like we just formed a correction on its own here, and we're breaking out now. So look for further upside if that's going to happen, and then preferably if we're going to break above that and then continue higher will be the best. So is this on? This is on. Do you not hear me? Those of you who are live, those of you who are on, can you guys just make sure that you can hear me and you can see my chart? Okay, yes. So let's continue. Let's continue to a couple other cryptos. So USD, this bullish up move here, finished by this really large continuation correction. I like how we have here a few swing highs, and then price is looking like we're going to break out now. So if we have a nice breakout here followed by continuation on the lower time frame, this is certainly something that I would look to get involved. You can clearly see this is a strong bullish move. There was a potential buy here after we broke out this structure here, and the the larger and the deeper this correctional goes, the stronger the next bullish move goes, right? So I like how we have a push down and a pretty much a reversal impulse, continuation correction within, and price is pushing out now. So we're looking for a breakout, looking for a continuation here would be something ideal. I'll certainly looking to see if that's going to develop and looking to get in on one of these. I like how we, if you just zoom out here, I like how this is clearly a consolidation in the making, right? And this is such a strong bullish move up. Naturally, we're going to see correction here and then continuation afterwards. Why don't we just, none of you guys can see anything. That's kind of weird. Let me just refresh. I'll refresh myself here. See if, yeah, I think it's fine for others. So if you're not seeing anything, just make sure you can refresh and make sure the volume is up. So let's move on to a few other one. Ethereum, looking like Ethereum has created a bullish kind of price action here. We have a kind of a bigger structure here, and then we're taking off now. So look for price to at least break the previous high or all-time high. We want to see price break above that and then continue. That's going to give us that bullish kind of bias for that continuation. Link USD, this is one I was looking at. I like how we have all these previous kind of bullish bias, right? Impulse correction, we have large impulse up. So from here up here, then we're looking for some continuation. And price looks like we consolidated a bit and we're breaking out now. So wait for a little bit of more of a confirmation push up and then look for correction to go. We have seen in the past that that's the tendency of how most of these crypto move. If we kind of zoom out here, this latest correction that we had before, we had a push out and then another correction and we push up very impulsively. So same idea can happen here. This is a larger correction in the making. We want to see that confirmation breakout and then continue upwards. So LTC, Litecoin. Litecoin is also something I've been looking at. We pretty much have all these bullish, same thing, the bullish bias is in our making, right? It's in our bias. We push up and then a larger kind of pennant correction, push up again, correction after breakout, impulse out, and then pretty much the similar structure that we have seen here, right? It's kind of like a pennant structure and then and wait for a price to break out here, just exactly what happened here, and then look for a correction out, price continue higher. Okay, look, every time when we see crypto fall into a deeper correction like these, typically we're going to see a very strong impulse afterwards after we break out. So look for these continuation correction. That's tendency of what price always make when we're going to push up for another run here. Really massively. Was looking at this maybe a while ago. I was looking at to see if we're going to see a correction here. Pretty much we form a kind of a bullish flag correction here. The impulse isn't as strong, but we see that nice continuation correction. And then we push up again. There's another correction here, and we push up now. So still the same thing. Original idea is, can we see price continue push up above this all previous high? And look for continuation here for to get in the price. Stellar is definitely something that I'll be looking at for long term now. If you zoom out here, we have been pushing up really strong since the end of last year, right? Impulse correction, impulse correction, impulse, and we fall into this kind of a deep correctional structure. And I talk about I want to wait for the correction finish. Don't just jump in the trade. We want to wait for a correction to finish and then look for the next buy. look like look like this deeper consolidation, deeper correction is still making, but as I always say, the deeper and longer this correctional structure goes, the better. Patient here, but I'm still looking for a potential buy if this correction completes. It could just break out now, looking at other cryptos, or we can just make another move down a little correctively and then break out from here. So definitely looking for this one. If we see how the previous, we've seen similar structure here, right? So it's all about just being a little bit more patient, waiting for that confirmation breakout and then lower time frame correction. That's how we're going to be able to get in on one of these. Last one I want to touch base on Ripple. Ripple mentioned about this bigger consolidation in the making. And we're kind of breaking out now, right? This is kind of what I was expecting the price to do. Originally, I had the structure kind of draw like this. This is originally what I had in mind, but as I stretch this out, I can see that there is potential looking at it this way. The whole point is to give us the price that it's going to finish consolidating in this correction here, because the correction continued to evolve and continue to move. We want to see that strong bullish impulse first. So I haven't seen that here yet, so I'm still waiting for a strong impulse out of that correction and continue. Let it consolidate here if it's going to similar like Stellar. They here the breakout, right? When we see a breakout followed by correction, that's usually going to be our sign here to able to get in on one of these trades. So few very good crypto potential. I think I like Litecoin here for continuation here, of course. Link is looking really clean as well. .USD is probably the better one. When I see this move down followed by a reversal impulse, this is usually a very good sign here for a continuation correction to the upside. Okay, so any question here on crypto, guys? Any question on crypto? Like I said, I just in this one trade on Binance Coin, but there's a few other crypto that's pretty much shaping up to be pretty decent. So keep in mind those. Okay. Hey everyone, nice to see you guys. So these are some cryptos. I'm gonna move on now if no question here. But the other trades, the other potential here, I'm looking pretty clean as well. So let's go to currency now. Currency, some of them. Let's take a look at a few that I'm looking at. I'm out of all my positions actually, so I took the three trades that I update. Pound yen took a loss here. Took a loss here on pound yen. Took a 1-to-1 here on Euro Aussie, and Kiwi Swiss also take me out here. So 3 trades, 2 losses, 1 win from yesterday, if I believe. So I'm not in any trading. I'm not in any of the Forex trade right now. I'm just in one Binance coin, and that's about it. But let's take a look what I'm seeing and what I expect for the price to do. Originally was looking at this at the continuation here on Aussie dollar here. We had pretty much clean impulsive move down correction. So impulsive move down correction, and we impulse down. And this is the area that I was talking about. Either we're going to break down like this and continue, or we might just form a bigger correction here. So it looks like this is kind of what we're getting here. Okay. When I was originally looking at this, it's either going to break down here, which is one possible scenario, or we're going to form bigger correction, which is kind of what we're getting here now. So don't be discouraged if this move doesn't go down. If we're just going to push out one more time like this, what we're going to get is just a bigger correction, right? So same thing like this, right? When we're looking for this after a strong impulse move, we know that perhaps this is not enough correction, or this is not enough correction to push the price lower. Instead, we're getting a bigger continuation correction here, and impulse, correction, impulse. followed by a larger correction here to go down more. Can I just make sure everyone is making sure everyone can see me on the charts? Looks like I'm just looking at YouTube. So is everyone on YouTube can see my chart and hear me? Everyone on TradingView can see me and see my chart. YouTube is fine. I'll post the links here. Good. Okay, so that's continue. YouTube, okay. Yeah, I don't know why TradingView isn't fine, but on the link if TradingView doesn't work, okay? So Aussie dollar, I was looking at this comment, double bottom, yeah, potentially, right? But double bottom here, if we push up the price here one more time, something like this, I will be still looking for a potential sell. This can still be a continuation correction for this move, and we're going down more, right? So being patient here, just waiting for development will be nice. So Kiwi dollar, kind of the same approach as Aussie dollar in this area. If this doesn't move down, if this doesn't go down right away, we're just gonna see a bigger correction. So pretty much the same idea here. We didn't push down here. Looks like is a potential double bottom here, and it's just moving up now. So if we just get another corrective structure like this, that's going to be better for us to be looking for a sell, right? It's exactly similar structure like this. After we see a strong impulse, naturally price needs to correct a little bit deeper or a little bit longer. So this is why last correction to push the price lower, we might get a bigger correction, which is kind of what I want to see anyways, and then still parry down the continuation afterwards. So still looking at this, still very similar like Aussie dollar in my opinion. Just want to see a bigger correction here that's going to give you a better confluence to look for the sell here, okay? Euro dollar, same approach, like same update from last stream. Is I'm still looking at what price will do when we hit this bottom here. We already pushed up massively already, right? And this move down here, it's already breaking out. And that's why I said there's really no more entries here. I don't think this entry here, which is developing here, would be ideal. There's not enough room to the downside. So if you're not in the trade from the top here, I really don't see an entry here now, because what if the price just bounce off from this area and you're just going to get tagged out very easily? So be careful here. Preferably is for price to actually break below, right? Because there's going to be, I would say, a lot of people trying to buy this, trying to look for a buy. I saw a lot of people talking about a buy. I don't know what level they're looking at or some support resistance they're looking at. So preferably is for price to break below that area that people are looking at, and no continuation from the price to go lower. So pound dollar, pretty much same idea like the couple dollar pair we're just looking at. I like how we broke out, and I like how this wasn't the only correction that's going to push down. It looks exactly the same like Aussie dollar and Kiwi dollar, that we might just get a bigger correction, but the bigger correction is good for us, right? We want to see bigger correction. We want to see bigger consolidation, because move. So after the impulsive move, usually we're going to follow by a correction. So similar idea here after an impulsive move, especially we're breaking out of this higher tension structure. Looking for a continuation correction here is very good to continue the downside. So all these are just correcting, right? Don't be discouraged if they're not dropping since yesterday or whatever. Is just giving yourself a little bit patient here to wait for something that's going to be recognizable in your eye, right? We backtest these strategy, we backtest the charts, so that we know when we see these kind of setups, we're going to be patient and we're going to wait for a completion of a correction before the next down move. Okay, so I'll talk about Shopify when I get to indices. Okay, so I'm gonna finish the currency first, and I'll kind of go into other markets afterwards. So dollar CAD, someone asked about dollar CAD. Well, dollar CAD looks like we're still pushing up, which is good. If you're holding the trade from the bottom here, again, I mentioned about putting your stop loss to break even and see what we'll do in this area because it's a little bit reversal like because when I start seeing this ascending channel, so can we get some sort of a reversal on the lower time frame here? Well, this doesn't look like a reversal to me yet. Okay, so if we zoom into the lower time frame here, what are we getting here? Well, we have a sharp impulse down. I don't like that, right? Looks like we're recovering some of that. Looks like there is some lower time frame impulse correction. We potentially could break out, but there's other way of seeing this as well, right? You can see it as this way, that this is an impulse and this is a correction. So you want to be careful when something like this happens, because if you look at the overall time frame, this is still looking like a bigger correction, right? This is still like ascending channel, and we managed to impulse down. So you want to be careful not to just jump in on the buy here, unless we have a little bit more confirmation, either break uh, above this high, and then we continue to the upside with a correction here. If not, be a little bit more patient to wait to see what will happen here. And this might even continue move down now. So if you're in the buy, like I said, from here, make sure you manage your stop accordingly. Are you text only? Do people really don't see my screen? That's weird, huh? I'm just going to I'm gonna restart my computer, guys. Okay, back on. I just want to make sure people on TradingView chart. I appreciate if you let me know. So, people on TradingView YouTube, can you guys see my chart now? Can you guys see my chart? I just want to make sure. Yeah, Trusting Harry, can you tell me if you can see my chart on TradingView? I just want to know because they say it's been seeing it blink. Can everyone see the chart? Can everyone see the line? And then I'm gonna continue. Yes, yes, okay. Hey, Julio, nice to see you. So we're all good. We can go now. Okay. So dollar yen, I do want to talk about because dollar yen has pushed up pretty massively, right? So what I want to see now is we're going to get some sort of continuation correction here. This is always going to be the area that I will be looking at. Okay, good, Stephanie. Thank you. So we impulse out that descending correction, and then pretty much where we broke out of this higher time frame structure. So this is the area that really we should watch out for is look for some sort of consolidation here and look for a potential buy from this area to the top. If we look at the higher time frame here, I talk about how in this larger, deeper consolidation, right? This is a large impulse. This is a huge correction on the higher time frame that took about years to complete, and descending channel, and then we have that reversal impulse out of that. So finding a correction here, look for the next buy would be very ideal to the next top here. Okay, that's something I'm definitely going to look for in the upcoming days or weeks. But this overall correction here, this overall kind of reversal structure, inverse head and shoulder, impulse, correction, and then we impulse out, right? So definitely something I'll be watching out for the week ahead. Super tilted, lost money on stocks. I didn't know you trade stocks, Julie. I thought you were more into what we are, just doing Forex or something like that. Let's move on to a few other ones. So Aussie CAD. Remember I was talking about this kind of continuation correction here that we have been pushing down pretty impulsively. And if you're looking for a correction here, and I mentioned just when price break the low here, make sure you adjust your stop loss accordingly. It looks like we're just kind of having a reversal impulse up here, which is what I don't like to see when I have a bear, right? Overall, if we zoom out here, we haven't even reached this previous low yet. This is kind of where I would usually look out for the price, but it looks like that's kind of where we're reacting to. So what can we expect from here? Well, kind of similar approach like Aussie dollar and Kiwi dollar is this pullback here. Is this going to form another correction, right? Every time when we see an impulse, every time we see an impulse here, especially on Aussie CAD, afterwards we see a kind of a bigger correction on the lower time frame. So can this be another correction here and then still drop? Possibly, right? We have seen this similar kind of price action in the past. So again, just waiting for the setup, right? Waiting for that's going to happen. If that's going to give us another possible entry here to look for another sell. Moving on to pound yen. So pound yen, I took a loss here. I was looking at the overall structure here. I even made a post here on TradingView. I talk about how we the price initially pushed down, right? We look at this as the first lower time frame kind of impulse. I mentioned about watch for the price when we get to this low. If it doesn't break the low, we're gonna adjust our stop accordingly. And now we made another push up to the upside, and I like how we kind of correctively move up in this ascending channel. We move up back to when I look at there was a kind of ascending channel within this larger ascending channel. To set the entry order here, and price pretty much tagged me in. And then stay most of the time in the red, and then when I woke up in the morning for nighttime, I just see that there's a correction here, and then it just push up above that. So what do I see from this? Well, let's see if we are going to still get a potential opportunity in the upcoming days or so. Just because this trade doesn't work out doesn't mean that this ascending channel won't work out, right? I always talk about we're not 100% sure if this correction will finish. What I look for is confluence within confluence, right? So I'm fine with entering something like this. But if it doesn't play out, then watch for a bigger correction that's going to develop here. Is it going to correct a little bit longer? And then still looking for a sharp move down. So that's still my bias on this for now, unless I just see a strong break to the upside and then correction to go. But if we don't get that, then I'm still going to have a potential bias for a sell if we get a completion of a correction here. Okay, so thing there's someone talk about CAD yen. I think it will be the same idea here. Okay, so double top here potentially, and there's a correction, kind of ascending channel, moving the price up. It's all about if we're going to break down from here. You see how on the lower time frame, this could potentially be something a bullish continuation. That's why we don't start shorting here if there's no confirmation in my eye. Preferably is for price to break down and then kind of a better choice or a better setup. We don't want to get jumping here when there's not confirmation yet. Okay, so let's move on to other things. Let's talk about Euro Aussie, for example. So Euro Aussie was able to get in on this one particular from the bottom here. I went for a breakout entry when I see this descending channel. Price stay most of the time just. And I went to sleep pretty much when the price was at this area. Moved my stop loss to about 1 to 1, and then pretty much just woke up to see this start dropping. And again, that's how we can only manage it accordingly, right? That's all we can do is after seeing it after started seeing a strong surge to the upside, naturally was kind of expecting price to continue after a correction here, but that did not happen, right? When I woke up, this price is already started dropping. I already moved my stop loss to about 1 to 1, and that's all we can do accordingly, right? Because the overall up move, I still really like the overall up move, and I thought this move can be the one that continue upwards. Turned out to be not the case here. It kind of started dropping down here. So take out the trade, exit for about one to one profit, and then I will still monitor this one. What if this move down more this, and then still push up afterwards? That's also a possibility as well. So similar kind of bigger correction after you see a strong impulse, right? After you see the strong impulse, uh, price may form into a deeper correction before the next impulse happens. So same thing can be happening here. Okay, so all I can do is let's take exit for a little bit of profit and then look for the next upside if that's going to happen. So Euro Kiwi, same idea here, right? Very similar like Euro Aussie. Talk about the descending channel, talk about the impulse from the bottom here. I like how we have pretty much impulse, correction, impulse out of this descending channel. And again, I was looking at this to see if this is to be a continuation correction, right? This is a descending channel. So we have an impulse correction, looking for the next impulse. But price just didn't have that much momentum to push up. Originally, before I went to sleep, I was looking at this as, okay, well, similar like Euro Aussie, we're pushing out now, and then pretty much just had a reversal impulse down. So really not interesting when I see something like this becomes forming like this now. Looks like we just had a impulse and then a reversal impulse down, a continuation correction here. So that's not something I like when I have a move on to a couple other one. Cat Swiss. Someone asked about Cat Swiss. I remember. I Same approach from I think last update in my opinion. This was the previous high that I was looking at, and I was trying to see if there's some sort of structure here. I'm not really seeing anything. I'm not really seeing any structures yet. This doesn't look like a structure, at least to me, or enough to be a structure. I want to see a little bit more confluence. Uh, Not much is developing here. Like I want to see if there's a ascending channel, but it doesn't look like there is. I don't want to just start shorting because there is a potential pop. Remember, when we look at double top, when we look at a previous high, it doesn't matter if price break above, touches the time frame, get to it. It's good that we're consolidating. It looks like we're not, moving up in an impulsive rate, but I'm not really seeing much structure here at the moment, so I want to wait a little bit longer here. Kiwi Cat talk about this pretty much every stream, and I still really favor Kiwi Cat for that continuation. If we look at all the price that has been pushing down from all the way from the top here, what it's telling you is that we have a few correction on the way, right? This is clearly continuation correction. And because we dropped down so much already, this move, when I remember in the last stream I mentioned, I don't think this is all the correction that's going to take for the next down move. What is likely to happen is exactly like Aussie dollar and Kiwi dollar is that this move did not push down or did not pass this previous, so expect a bigger correction, right? This is always what we're going to see. You're looking at this and look at what we've seen in the past here. Right? It's just different in sizes, but it's going to be very identical. You see, this is the ascending channel. We push down, then push down below, and then we pull back again. Push down, didn't break the low, and then we pushed up again. So pretty much similarity that can happen. It just varies in sizes, right? So if you're seeing similar structure here, just about waiting for a correction to form. The bigger, the deeper of this correction goes, the next down move is likely to happen. So again, patience, right? Um, if you're in the trade from the high here or from the high here, I think it's fine to hold it. As long as your stop is probably above these kind of area, let the price correct itself, and then look for the that would be. Okay, so Moving on to Kiwi Swiss. Yeah, Kiwi Swiss, I took a loss here. I updated that in earlier. Originally I was liking how we have an impulse down and then a corrective structure pushing up. I kind of explained my thought behind it when I entered this at the time. Um, I like how what I was seeing. There's a pretty much ascending channel moving the price up, and then there's a smaller kind of ascending channel or a rising wedge pushing the price up. And I was looking to see, like I said, entry order above and set the stop loss above the high, and then pretty much just hovering around the me out. I'm still looking at this as, well, can we get a bigger correction here? Is this going to be all the correction, or are we going to get similar like Kiwi CAD or Kiwi dollar? We're going to see a correction push down and like this, and then still go down afterwards. Something a structure like this. After seeing an impulse like that, naturally price is correcting a little bit bigger. So I would still keep it on this, even though I took a loss. But this is how we manage our stock. This is how we manage our risk, right, guys? Losing substantial money or blowing account. This is what we cap our risk at a 1% or at a small amount where this doesn't phase you, right? I thought this is a good time for a mini lesson here. I've been getting a lot of messages, people saying how they either blow account or they lose or they took a couple trades and then that pretty much take out most of their account. I'm kind of surprised why people overtrade or over leverage, right? If your account is $100, then naturally you should only be risking 1%. But most people probably risk like 5%, 10%, or whatever, or even 25%. I see someone. So what? Doesn't matter what your principal amount of your capital is. Why are you risking so much more? It just doesn't make sense. So I mean, you take a big position, something like this, as a but that's like a huge substantial amount to your account, right? So you gotta really work on that mindset thing where you're not here to like trying to maximize, you're not here to make money, or you're not here to make fast money. That's what I'm trying to say. You're not here to make quick money, right? Because that's how you're going to accelerate yourself to blow an account if you don't have risk management. Okay, so make sure you really understand risk management, because no, the only way for you to be consistent and sustainable in any market, in any trading, is really understand risk management. Don't overtrade, right? If you have $100, stick to a 1%, right? Why are you trading like 10%, 20%, or whatever? And all you have to do is you take one loss and you're at a 10% drawdown, right? That's kind of, and all that's going to that's because you just lost 10% of your account, which is $10 or whatever your principal amount of money is. And the next trade you take, you're going to take like 15% now because you're going to try to make back the previous losses. And what if you lost here? Well, you're going to make a 30% account. So before you know, after a few trades, you pretty much blow your account already, right? So that's why a lot of new traders lose money. They're trying to make fast money, but that doesn't work in trading as a consistent approach. Okay. Pound cat. I'm not really seeing much on pound cat except that I'm seeing pretty much an inverse head and shoulder now. This looks like a right shoulder, an inverse head and shoulder pattern, and looks like we can see potential up move from here. We can see that price just hit the low here, so like we're gonna reversal price action. This can continue to the upside. Okay. So that's pound cat. LTC, I went over that already, but I'll go over that after. So let's move on to dollar ZAR. I'm not looking at dollar ZAR, but I originally wanted to see if there's going to be a correction here. It looks like we have an impulse down and looking to see if this is going to be some sort of correction here. But this is right in the middle of the correction, so I really don't see either up move or buy move yet. I want to see what will happen within this correction here before I have a buy. Looks like this is a bearish impulse though, so this can be a continuation, like an expanding structure, but I'm not seeing too much on the lower time frame yet, except that there is a potential flag here kind of, but because we're still in this correction here, I don't really like to call or speculate any direction. Okay. Do I believe stocks are hardly manipulated? I don't think it's manipulated. I just think that the only time you can trade them is within their hours, right? So it's a lot more restricted. And try not to think that because you took some losses there, right? You got to think about, it's like if someone take losses in other market, they're not going to say those market are manipulated. So just work on the mind, right? That's how you're going to learn, and work on your emotion, work on your trading plan, work on your risk management. Is going to help you. So though that's it for currency. That's it for currency. I just quickly jump into Litecoin really quick before I move on. I talk about Litecoin. In the beginning, I like how we're in a bullish trend, right? Impulse correction, looking for the next impulse and then continuation. So I want to see if this area a little bit of consolidation out and then continuation. I'll be looking for a buy here. Overall, price has been in a bullish trend, so naturally it's the same idea here for me to be looking for further upside. All right, so let's jump into commodities now. I know some of you guys are looking at commodities. Why don't we look at gold? I think a lot of you guys are looking at gold, and I mentioned about in my last stream, my last market update is if this is going to be a double bottom, watch to reverse and watch for some sort of lower time frame correction. I didn't really see any correction here, but if you want to argue that someone was looking for an entry here, they can argue that could be potentially entry somewhere here. We pretty much have a double bottom like this, and then price is pushing up now. So this is all good. This is even better than the previous one in short speed. Remember previously I was looking at this descending channel to push up and then continue the bullish move. That didn't happen. Now we're having a double bottom on the bottom of this higher time frame flag. Very preferably is for me is to wait for price to actually break above this area and continuation to upside. Okay, because that will show us that this is no longer going to be some sort of bearish continuation, a bigger correction to go downside. Instead, we're pushing above that high and then continuation to upside. Okay, so that's gold. Let's look at silver. So silver, remember I talk about this is the low that you're going to watch out for, right? And this is pretty much what price is bouncing off or at least reversing back up. Originally, I was looking at silver to go all the way down to a low here. We did drop quite a bit, but this is that area, right? This is the previous bottom, and pretty much we're seeing that double bottom area. And we're seeing a little reversal kind of price action. And first of all, this is an inverse head and shoulder. We have impulse, correction, impulse, and then looks like this is a bigger correction, and we're pushing up more and more now. So what do I expect from all this? Well, we did break this previous, so already that to mean that the market isn't going down to all the way to the low. We gotta start seeing if this is going to be a descending channel after we break this low and previous low, and this is going to be a push up from here and continuation upside. So gold, I think silver and gold are somewhat very close together when they come to movement. It's just that this didn't reach all the way to the low, whereas gold did. Gold reached the previous low. So gold will be much better if, like I said, if we can break the previous high and continue upwards. So that's about it. I'm not looking at anything else. I mentioned about oil. I want to see this bigger consolidation finish. I think I updated that in the last market update. I want to see a correction. This is still an impulse correction, or we want to see the next impulse down, right? But this looks like we're going to form into a deeper correction. So let the deeper correction happen, and let the next downside begin. So that's all the commodity, guys. Euro Aussie, sure. Yeah, I'm out of Euro Aussie. I'm out of all of my positions. I mentioned about that. Euro Aussie, we had that strong bullish push to the upside, and then price pretty much fall into like a descending channel. I didn't like how we just break this previous low, and then I just set my stop loss to about 1 to 1, right? So pretty much take me out. Going to be a move that's going to break out from this correction here. If that's the case, I will look to get back in. I think this is a continuation correction they're making. It's a little bit messy, right? It's not as straightforward as something that we usually would see or something like that. This is more very steep, right? I usually don't like to see a continuation correction very steep, like very narrow. Usually want to see continuation, something like this, right? Something like this will be a nice continuation. So I want to see what will happen if this is going to continue a breakout and then continuation to the upside. That will at least make me be more interested in it. Okay, so we want to take a look and we'll see what happens. Are the market closed for the week? Why is it closed for the week? Talk about just a few indices. Remember last update I mentioned about a couple key ones to watch out for these US one. Nasdaq. Talk about that. This is a potential kind of a flag in the making. So we have this impulse, reversal impulse, and then looks like this is a continuation correction. We actually broke out now. This can just lead into another bullish push up. This can be a continuation. We're going to continue higher now, right? Because we broke out of this bullish continuation pattern. I would be looking for some sort of correction here that leads to push the price higher. Similar like S&P and stuff, you can see S&P we broke this previous high, all-time high, sorry. We just broke $4,000. This looks like an impulse correction. We're pushing up above now. So look to see if this is going to continue higher and then continuation to the upside. And this is going to potentially push down lower, but looks like this is an impulse correction, impulse out, continuation correction in the making, and we'll continue going to upside now. And I want to take this chance to go over some equities now because I think there's a lot of good ones that are shaping up to be pretty good. Like Tesla as an example. I mentioned about Tesla here. Originally was looking to see if this is going to be an inverse head and shoulder, but instead price just formed a deeper correction, but still looking like this is an impulse. This is like a flag or a channel. We're looking like we're going to break above now, right? This is all good price action for us to be looking at something like this, and we're potentially going to continue upward higher. Okay. So Tesla definitely something in my eye. I also was looking at, I think it was Boeing. Or yeah, much of these Boeing has recovered. If you notice the same kind of price action, pushing the price up and looking like we have another correction here to push the price higher. I like how price is slowly recovering. We're still in a bullish kind of trend. We're slowly recovering what we have lost in coronavirus, right? So this bullish move up, followed by another continuation, I do expect this to continue higher and then another continuation. So most of these equities, especially these, I would say blue chip stocks or really major companies, they're en route to incline back to where they started at before the coronavirus. Some has already recovered, some has not, right? But they all move different speed, different time. But I like the overall price steadily moving up. There's these bigger kind of bullish continuation correction, which is what we want to see if we're looking for continuations. Hey Recon, nice to see you. The more narrow the channel is more possible for reversal. What I mean when I say narrow, it's like when I see an impulsive move, we want to see continuation, right? Like at least it's still steadily something like this, like something like this. But when I start seeing a structure like this and it start falling a deeper like this, I don't really like that, right? It's not necessarily reversal. It's just that this can lead into something like this. Okay, you see what I mean? Like this becomes an impulse, this becomes a correction, and then we're going down. So when I look for continuation correction, I always want to look for something like this, right? Like a strong impulse, a little bit more consolidation, but they're very parallel. They're moving up and down, but in a sideways consolidation like this. I don't want to see something like we push up and then fall into a steeper kind of correction like this. Okay, so there's a difference in that. I talk about pound yen. I did talk about pound yen. So pound yen for me, I'm still kind of looking at what will happen in this top of the ascending channel. This is a double top here that price is at, right? I like how potentially we can still expect some sort of a reversal. A loss here, but I would still look for a potential reversal if this is going to push down from it and then continuation down. Okay, this is wrong. I think this is. So, but yeah, for pound yen, like I said, I want to see what will happen in this ascending channel if we can push down and then continuation. If that doesn't happen, then I just take a loss here and I'll move on. The simplest thing of how I do it is that if I took a loss here, then I'm not going to, be phased about it. If this is going to continue to the upside, then I'm not going to enter back in, right? I'll just take one loss and I'll move on. But if this consolidate here a little bit longer, and then if we push down from the price, I would still be interesting to get in on a sell like this to push the price lower to the bottom. Okay, so all about your management, all about your perception on trading, to me is, always have a plan, right? The trade doesn't work out to your forecast, if this pushes up, then to me, no trade, I'll move on. But if the trade shapes up to be something, then I will look to get back into the trade. Right? I'll look to see if this is going to give me another opportunity to sell, and then I'll have a plan to do it. Okay. So any questions so far, guys? I went through all the market a little bit fast because I did do an update 2 days ago, of course, and not much is on my watch list. Not much is on the watch list. A lot of these had a deeper pullback. So, like I said, for Euro Aussie, I would be interesting if we can see price break out from here and continue, if that's going to happen, right? If this is give me another bullish push up followed by correction, I would be interested in it, okay? But if that doesn't, then I'm going to move on. I'm going to just be on the sideline a little bit, be a little bit more patient. Did take a loss here, did take a loss on Kiwi Swiss, but did take a win here on Euro Aussie. So 2 losses, 1 win for the beginning of month. Not much else is really on my watch list for currency. I don't see too much that is shaping up for now. But I do mention about the few dollar pairs if we can get a bigger consolidation, a bigger correction in the making. So something like this, then I will be interesting to look for something like that. Same thing with Kiwi dollar. If we get a bigger correction like this, that would still be interesting. And talk about yen as well, right? Here, if we get further bearish confirmation, then I will be interesting as well. And Euro Aussie, mentioned about that, looking for that bigger, looking for a completion of this if that's going to happen. Like I said, the steeper correction is not something that I usually like to trade, but I will look at it, I'll manage it, I will observe to see if we get that bullish push out from there. Kiwi cat probably my favorite to lead into the rest of the week or next week is if this push up one more time or one more or two more times but forms a deeper correction, definitely going to get involved in this, right? Because this is a sharp impulse all the way from the top. We can expect a bigger correction in the making here and then still resume the downside afterwards. Yeah, so I'm gonna wrap it up with some more cryptos. I went over some cryptos. Uh, I went over BNB. I did go over BNB like by in the beginning because I'm in BNB here. So I talk about Binance Coin. When we're looking for a bigger consolidation, right? This is a bigger bullish continuation. This is an impulse. This is a correction, and then looking for the next breakout. So price pretty much broke out to the upside, and then there's a small lower time frame correction. That's just how I would usually enter with these kind of correction after breakout. And so just as a set an entry order and peg me in, and looking to see how the price will move. It's kind of moving up a little bit now, but how strong this impulse will be, and I'll adjust my management accordingly. I want to see if price can break at least the all-time high here and then continue to the upside. Okay. ELA BTC. Um, this looks like it can be something, but look again, this is kind of a little bit steep, right? I don't like these kind of correction. It's not as a typical correction we usually will, a continuation correction that we usually want to see. This is a little bit more steep, right? And that's why you want to be careful. If we really see our time frame, this has been in a more decline. We haven't really seen any bullish price action except that this is potentially a two bottom here and we push out. But is this steep correction going to be the one that's breaking out, or we might form a bigger correction here like this before the next breakout? So not really too interesting this one. Uh, so Dogecoin, finally after this period consolidation, we're getting price action now, right? Which is good. Originally, I was looking at this if that's going to break out, it did not, and then I was looking at this if it's going to break out, it did not. But finally, it looks like we complete something here. So longer this period consolidation goes, the stronger the next bullish push, right? So I'm still waiting to see what will happen if this is going to be a correction here to push the price higher. There's just a little bit of a reversal right now, so be a little bit more careful. Price isn't going anywhere, right? If this is going to take off, it's going to at least for a bigger correction after we break the all-time high and then continuation to the upside. So you don't need to jump in here if it doesn't give you a confirmation here yet. You're talking about oil, right? I talked about oil already. Oil, I'm just waiting for a bigger consolidation here, developing here, before I consider anything else. I like how this move is going to go down pretty impulsively already, but this looks like we're going to form a bigger correction here. So I want to wait a little bit more development here. Any other question, guys? Any other question for any other pair? I went over most of the pairs already, most of the market. So I'm not seeing much. Like I said, I'm only in trade, and all my other currency pair close. One last one I'll go over is this one that you mentioned. Pretty similar like the one you just mentioned, right? ELA BTC. I really don't see much here. This looks like it's just in a bearish kind of trend still, right? On the lower time frame, same thing. This is pretty steep correction. I didn't like to trade something like this. What it's likely to do is make a bigger correction before the next up move, something like that. And I don't like how this is very steep. Even if this breakout and continue, what the scenario I like to see is push up and push down again, and then form a bigger correction to go. All right. Any other question, guys? Any other question? Today's stream's a little bit faster, but pretty much to the end of the week. Not much is on my watch list anymore. Went over those pairs, that I closed, and talk about the only trade I'm in, which is Binance. And I want to use this chance also to talk about well, dollar yen. I kind of briefly went over this in the beginning. When we see massive push up from here, right? This is what we always talk about is when you see massive bullish push up like this, when we break out of this higher time frame structure, it's not wise to just jump in here, in my opinion, just based on experience. Like you want to wait for a bigger consolidation here to get in on the buy. Okay, so don't have that FOMO, right? If you have FOMO, you already missed all this anyway. So why care if you miss a few more pips here? Wait for a better opportunity, wait for a better entry here. It's going to be ideal, rather than trying to jump here and hoping this is going to take off. Because what if this area just start forming a deeper consolidation like this, and you enter in here times, and then price eventually reverts back, or eventually resume the bullish trend, and you're going to miss out on the next potential buy, right? So be a little bit more patient, because on the higher time frame, you have that higher time frame bias, right? This is clearly kind of correction. We have this kind of longer period consolidation, and look to see if we break out here and then correction and push the price top to the next high, right? This is going to be a couple hundred pips here for you to make anyways, right? So 500 going to be entries here, okay? Just have to be patient here, right? I would always get in on this buy. I would always look for this buy opportunity, okay? But I won't rush my trade. I won't just jump in because we break out some trend lines. The trend line doesn't mean much, right? What if this just start reversing back down and continuation to a downside? We wait for confirmation here, okay? All right. So any other question, guys? Any other question? Those of you who are new to me, if I talk about do these, those of you who follow me already know, but I do the streams 3 times a week. I do them on TradingView. You can watch all the streams on TradingView here. You can rewatch all of them here if you missed some of that. Or you can go on my YouTube. This is where I update all my educational stuff. So I have all the stuff in price action, analysis. This is all the work videos you can learn from what I trade. Risk management is really important. You should really consider watching some risk management, how to position yourself, how not to over risk, and things like that. Trading psychology is one of the most important aspects. You can have the best strategy in the world, but if you don't have good emotion and mindset related to trading, like good expectation in trading, it's not going to help you out. And I do a weekly recap videos on every single trade I take. I always update that here. Videos here, this is where I update all my YouTube videos. You can watch a lot of these to learn. And all the stuff I updated in my Telegram. So all my TradingView links, all my analysis, all my kind of lessons, educational video is all here. You can get all that here. I don't bombard you with anything promotional stuff. It's all content related. Nothing here to sell or nothing here like that, okay? All right, so I think that's it, guys. I think that's it. I'm going to wrap it up soon, unless there is any other question or any other pair you want me to take a look. But like we got, and that's about it to me. I am looking at most of the crypto. I think most of the crypto are shaping up pretty good, right? Binance Coin is one. BT, I think Dot is good. I talk about Link. I talk about LTC is also good. Neo is also good. We're breaking up now, and I like Stellar as well. Stellar is probably one of my next one to look for if this breaks out, and then continuation here and continue to push the upside. So. All right. So, oh yeah, I do want to talk about one thing. It's a good thing that we're still alive. Again, I want to focus on. Really want to spend this time to talk about risk management. I thought using this time would be good. I really want to, because I've been hearing too many lately. Okay, guys, I've been hearing lately too many people message me about them blowing the account and things like that. I just really want to spend this last maybe 5-10 minutes to really talk about this topic. Okay, so I'm not going to go over any more other things. Management though. Plan interest, sure, I'll go over that and I'm gonna jump into the remaining of the stuff. Um, well, I don't really looks like a potential head and shoulder pattern. Even though this move up, this can still be a right shoulder moving down. I would prefer price to break above this high here before consider buying anything here. Okay, but if that doesn't happen, I'm not looking to. This looks like we're at the top of the overall structure. We might just go down after. I don't like that. Okay. Anyways, um, I do want to talk about risk management just a little bit. So those of you who online here, mini lesson here. I just want to talk about this because I see too many people lately blowing their account and they're messaging me about them blowing their account. It's fine because you're learning, right? Everybody blew their account some point in their trading journey, myself included in the beginning of my trading journey. But it's how you recover it, right? It's how you recover afterwards. Initial capital, like I always say 100. Let's just say your initial capital is 1,000. I always talk about only risk 1%, right? Maybe to you guys, you may not have 1,000, or maybe you have less or more. I don't really know, but you should cap your risk percentage, right? Maybe 1% is too little to you. You want to do it at 1.5. Really doesn't matter, but it should be uniform, right? It should be uniform. It shouldn't be different, right? It shouldn't be like, okay, in this particular trade, I'm going to risk 5% here, and the next trade I'm going to risk 7% or percent. It shouldn't be risking more than uh, there's no specific trade that you should risk more or risk less, right? And don't overtrade, right? Don't overtrade because you're not here to try to hit a home run. I think what people end up doing is they overtrading because they're like, okay, I want to enter here, I want to enter here, I want to enter here, I want to enter here. I hope all three positions on the same pair or the same currency, whatever you're looking at, I hope all of them going my right way. But that's not really helping, right? Because how can you expect, hoping to help you to get achieve what you want. So the market can do whatever it wants you to do, right? There's no point trying to hope for price to go in your fashion or in your order. It's all about having a plan, having your trading plan, have risk management, right? Right? Like for example, I entered here. I already accept that this trade can go to a loss. Okay, this trade can go to a loss, but I already accept that right in the beginning. Some people, when they enter the trades, they don't set stop loss. There's no stop loss on their trade, and I'm kind of amazed that when I see something like that, I'm like, well, you enter a trade, you may probably keep it at 1%, but if you don't honor your stop loss, you let the trade keep falling, and keep falling, and suddenly you're at like a 5 or 6% drawdown now, right? And keep feeling you're like, okay, well, I hope this is going to recover. What if this just keep dropping down, dropping down? Now you're at a 10% drawdown. Like, when does this end? When do you try to, excuse me, when do you actually exit the trade? Right? How do you do that, right? I only say this because I get this message from someone. I don't really want to, it's just an example, and I hope he doesn't feel mind. I said this because he showed me a broker. He showed me that he's in a huge drawdown, and then he's in a huge drawdown where he needs to hedge now. He was in the buy position, and then because the trade keep going down against him, he didn't have a stop loss, and he's just hoping some point of time price will turn it back, but it didn't. And now he's at the huge drawdown, and what he's forced to do now, he's has to enter sell positions because his buy position is all the way up here. He drawdown, he has to open the sell position to hedge the losses on his buy. And now you're just stuck in a limbo because your buy position is losing money, your sell position is losing money, and your account is really not going to sustain that. Okay, so really understand this from a sustainable approach. I know most people who get into trading is trying to make money. Of course, that's what we're here to do, but you can't make money if you don't have money, right? If every trade you take is going to be a 10% draw capital to trade, remember that, right? You need capital to trade at the end of the day. So sustainability, consistent is key. You may not make as much profit the way how I'm showing you, risking 1%. You're not over trading, over risking, over leverage. You may not make someone who entered 3, 4, 5 trades in the same run. But what if all these 3, 4, 5 trades go against you, and especially you don't have stop loss, you're hoping the price to hold to turn around, and you are going to blow your account, right? That's what when people talk about when they blow their account. And like when you're new, you hear about people blowing their account, you're like, oh, how is that possible? That guy is not doing it right. Only when you blow your account and you realize, holy shit, like that's exactly why people blow their account. But blowing your account is all your learning curve in trading, right? You need to produce money, blow an account to understand why we have risk management, why we have stop loss, why we have good trading plan, good risk management, good approach to trading so that it doesn't come back to bite you. Okay, so that's really my 2 cents here. I'm just trying to help this pass some. I know some people may or may not agree with me. That's fine. But I'm trying to help out those who are in the drama or who are having difficulties to understand what's going on here. Most importantly, okay, remember, you can't, you cannot trade if you have no money. So if you blow your account, if you blow your money, you can no longer trade, right? And the next time you see great opportunity, all you can do is you watch the trade take off, and you don't have capital to trade, and that's the worst feeling because you probably done homework, you've done enough chart work, and you're looking for that next buy, but because your account is in a huge drawdown, you can't even enter the buy anymore, and you just watch the trade take off without you, and that's the worst feeling as well. Okay. Last, I want to update gold. Yeah, I mean, for me, I talk about gold is I want to see price can break above this previous high and then more correction to go. If that doesn't happen, I'm just going to wait a little bit. I like how there is a double bottom. I like how prices, but we want to make sure this is not a bearish continuation to go lower, right? This is still a bearish push down. This can be a continuation to push lower. That's why I want to wait for a little bit more confirmation and then look for a potential buy out of this. So be careful Euro Aussie, right? I got this message from someone privately just now. Yes, I would be interesting if this pushes up and then followed by correction to go, but what if this just start forming a deeper consolidation like this to drop down? That's also a possibility, right? You can see that this is a impulse correction impulse, right? What if there's another correction here to push the price lower? So I'm not just going to be buying because it breaks above here. So be careful here, okay, guys? This kind of a steep correction I don't really like, and you can see this is a pretty sharp move to the downside, right? This is not the usual correction we usually see from a correctional continuation correction, okay? This is something that I would want to see from the price. I don't want to see something like this, which is a bullish push up and a very steep decline like this. This can still go, but this what usually ends up turning into is exactly what I mentioned here, like that. Okay, so be careful like this, okay? Any other question, guys, before I wrap it up here? Any other question from me? Um, like I said, I hope the risk management side of things help people. I'm only using that as an example because lately I just been getting too many people message me about them, blowing the account and whatnot. And a part of me feel a little bit sorry, and a part of me really want to help out, right? And that's why I kind of always talk about risk management. But I know that sometimes people don't have opinion on things, and sometimes people may or may not agree with what you're saying, and that is that, right? But it's really come from experience and come from years of experience of doing this because people come and go when it comes to trading, right? I've been trading. This is the 8th year in trading already. I talk to so many different people in different time when they're all into trading, and then 3 months later they quit because they blew their account. They don't really focus on risk management, etc. So I see people come and go in trading all the time. Whether or not you're listening today and you might be new or you might not be new. Yeah, have a good weekend, Julio. I hope you're doing well, and then we can check next. We can check next week. So I mentioned about people come and go in trading. I've been to so many of these cases where a lot of people join trading. They're really passionate. They are getting into trading. They want to do well, and then really just in a few months' time, they all quit because they lost their capital. They overtrade, and then they blow a few accounts, and then the trading passion is no longer there. All they do now is to try to chase back their money. You know what I mean by chase back? Because maybe they blew one or two or three different accounts. They lost a couple hundred here, and then all they want to do now is to chase back the money that ends up happening is you accelerate yourself to blow their account again because you're gonna overtrade, you're gonna revenge trade, etc., and that usually doesn't end well. So have a very clean peace of mind when it comes to trading is you're in this for the long run. You're not here to just trade for 1 year and make million and then quit. That's really not how trading is. And unfortunately, social media portrays trading as so, but that's really not how trading is. If you really ask people who trade professionally or people who trading for many, many years, it's about sustainability. It's about consistency. It's about how long you can actually survive in the market condition, right? You usually hear the saying there, 90-95% traders, retail traders are going to lose money. That's probably a lot of people lose money, and it all comes down to risk management, trading plan, and etc. Right? You can have the best. I always talk about you can have the best strategy in the world, the best strategy, whatever out there, whoever claim to be the best strategy. You can have that strategy, and you can still be not profitable because you're not following the plan. You're not following risk management. You don't have a good mindset and emotion when it comes to trading. Um, so having the best strategy in the world is not necessarily going to help you to make money. You might even lose money because of that because you don't have a good mindset when it comes to that. Okay, so that's my honest way to that's my really honest point approach on this, and I hope that deliver a message to some of you guys because that is the fact, guys. We're not here to like make money and then call ourselves a guru, right? Which is what social media shows you, profit after profit, things like that. But that's really not the case, guys. That's really not the case, and I always emphasize on this. Try not let the social media stuff bother you, because it's a lot of times they're not even trading with real money, they're trading with demo, or a lot of profit that you're seeing is just Photoshop, right? Today's day, how easy is it to just make a post and then slap on the pictures, and people still buy into that. People still buy into that online these days, and I just find it absurd. But hey, they are targeting people's emotion. When you go on social media, when you see a bunch of people flashing their money, their car, their house, uh, people buy into them. You think, okay, well, this guy has these cars or house or money. Surely he must be doing something well, or he must be teaching something well. But all that can be fake, right? All that can be can be fake, right? Can be adjusted, can be Photoshop in, right? So don't fall for those guys. At the end of the day, if you're trading, you're about trading your account, you're trying to grow your account. That's your goal, right? What other people have or may not have, it's really none of your business, and for yourself. So I'm gonna wrap it up here. I hope this passed on some messages to those of you guys who are around, and I hope for the best of you guys. I hope to see more of you guys in the near future. Like I said, you can watch all my stream on TradingView. If you missed some of what I talk about, you can watch them on YouTube, where I go over all my lessons and educational videos. And you can join my Telegram. This is where I update everything I have here. Okay, all my contents I'll always update on Telegram. Okay, so I'm gonna wrap it up. So thank you very much, guys, for being here for today. I will do a weekly trade recap video on weekend, and then I will see you guys all next week for my weekly outlook. All right. Thank you very much, and be safe out there. Have a good day, everyone. Thank you.